Good. It's so nice to see you tonight. Thank you for joining us for this second installment of Elevating Prince George's County Community Conversations Town Hall Series. The purpose of these town halls is to elevate engagement and create more opportunities for you to connect with the county government. This evening, we're going to get updates from county agencies, from the Chamber of Commerce, and a nonprofit on potential economic developments that will directly impact the county's economy, as well as information and resources to help business owners access opportunities and thrive in Prince George's County. At the conclusion of the presentations, there will be a small window allotted for questions that you can ask by submitting them in the chat. You'll be addressed by one of our speakers, and we ask that when you submit your question in the chat, please indicate which agency you're directing your question to, and we'll get to as many as we can. I'm delighted to host tonight's second in this series of town halls. I'm Pat Lawson-Muse, formerly of NBC4 TV here in Washington. And let's begin our town hall tonight with remarks from Prince George's County Executive, Aisha Braveboy. Madam County Executive.
Thank you so much, Pat Lawson-Muse, for hosting today's very important discussion on elevating our economy here in Prince George's County. And good evening to the residents of Prince George's County. Good evening to my fellow panelists and to those out there who are listening. Tonight's town hall is really about making sure that everyone understands that the commitment I made to uplifting our businesses and the business climate in Prince George's County is being realized. We've hosted business leadership summits. We are also in the process of establishing our very first fashion district for Prince George's County so that we can continue to buy locally with quality products made by people who are here in Prince George's County. We are determined to show the world that Prince George's County is not only a great place to live, but also a great place to do business. And so tonight you'll hear from agencies who are involved in economic development activities throughout the county. You'll hear from individuals who work directly on my staff, who are also responsible for helping to direct major projects in the county and to chart the course for sustainable development. We are very much focused on transit-oriented development in the county because we understand that that is our best chance of getting high-quality development with minimal impact on our roadways. And so having those transit-oriented projects really helps to add to our economy without burdening our highways and byways. So you'll hear a little bit about the work we're doing around the Blue Line corridor as well as other transit stations on this call. But we are excited. We are a growing county. We're a diverse county. We have a lot of opportunities here in Prince George's County, and we're going to take advantage of each and every one of them. So I look forward to the discussion tonight. I want to thank those panelists who are here this evening or who are also helping to elevate Prince George's County. And I look forward to the questions from our community and again, a continued discussion about all of the great work we're doing for the residents of Prince George's County. So back to you, Pat Lawson-Muse.
All right. Thank you, County Executive Braveboy. Our first topic tonight is the economic health of Prince George's County. And our first speaker is one of the newest members of the Braveboy administration. Tracy Benjamin is Deputy Chief Administrative Officer of Economic Development. Ms. Benjamin oversees the Economic Development Cluster of county agencies and departments whose work intersects involving business growth, where business growth is concerned, redevelopment, real estate, workforce, community development, etc., where all those things intersect. In her most recent position, Ms. Benjamin served as Deputy County Attorney in the Office of Law for Prince George's County, where she led the transactional unit and provided strategic legal counsel to more than 20 county agencies. We're so happy to have you tonight with us, Deputy Chief Benjamin. As county residents, we are seeing a lot of development in some areas, but not so much development in others. How will your office ensure that economic growth is evenly spread out across the county and not concentrated in just a few communities?
Thank you for that question. Good evening, everyone. Madam County Executive, I am very happy to be here for what I agree is a very important discussion. We are excited about the opportunities that have been presented to the county in the realm of economic development. We look at the county as having three commercial categories. You have your northern county area, which is sort of our tech hub, where University of Maryland and a lot of quantum computing, ion development, and educational based commerce in that area. Then you have central Prince George's County, where we are very excited to be working on the Blue Line Corridor effort. And what that is an effort to build economic development essentially around metro stations. And what's that's called in our industry is transit-oriented development. And that means incentivizing construction of retail stores, apartments, sports venues, entertainment venues around metro stations, because high frequency, reliable transit service provides better access to jobs, healthcare, education, and other essential services, particularly for low income residents for whom car ownership may be cost prohibitive. And we have a plethora of exciting economic development projects in the work, and I'll talk about a couple of them. You know, the exit of Six Flags from the county is really what we consider an opportunity rather than a loss, because there you have 500 acres of property, 350 to 400 of which are developable. And rather than the current use, we are here now able to seek the best and highest use of that property, and in a manner that we are sure will increase our commercial tax base and increase our workforce, create jobs. And so, in addition to that project, we also have the commanders who are leaving the area. And that presents an opportunity for economic growth for the county as well. And so we don't look at, and then you have, of course, in the Southern County, you have National Harbor. So with respect to all those points in between, the economic development cluster of agencies, which includes 9 county agencies that I won't rattle through right now, but we are charged with driving sustainable and long-term economic growth, increasing the county's commercial tax base, and creating job opportunities for residents here in the county so that they live, work, and play here. So any of those areas where economic development is not as visible now, we'll certainly begin to see cranes in the sky and more projects and development to make this a beautiful place to live, work, and play.
And Deputy Chief Benjamin, tell us what it takes to generate economic growth in a given community. There's a hearing, for example, a hearing notice posted in our neighborhood here in South County for a new housing development. Does more housing automatically mean road improvements, more infrastructure, more retail?
I wouldn't say automatically, but it is certainly a catalyst for all of those things. The county has what we call in this industry as retail leakage, which is a phenomenon that occurs because residents are seeking specific place-based shopping experience like designer clothing, handbags, specialized customer service that's not being met within the county by local business. So many market studies for the county have consistently acknowledged this issue, noting that a significant amount of potential retail spending by affluent residents leaves the county to go elsewhere in the region, like Tysons or Pentagon City. By creating affordable housing and commercial retail development, we can have a greater tax base because our residents who will enjoy luxury and affordable homes in combinations of the same will spend more here in Prince George's County. And so I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does. Thank you so much, Deputy Chief Benjamin. We turn now to Prince George's Economic Development Corporation and the topic of upcoming economic developments. And I guess this is an addition rather to what's already been discussed. The EDC is a county-funded nonprofit that promotes business growth and job creation and investment in Prince George's. And the economic development arm of the county, it supports local entrepreneurs and companies through various business development programs, as well as incentives and resources. The EDC's focus is business retention, expansion, and attraction. Anthony D. Jeffrey is Business Development Manager for the restaurant and retail arm of the EDC. Welcome to you, Mr. Jeffrey.
Good evening, Pat, and thank you for having me.
And my question to you is, are there any major new restaurants or retail brands or entertainment venues coming to the county in the new year in 2026?
Yes. So I'm happy to announce there are a lot of exciting things that are happening in Prince George's County right now, and especially in 2026. Just to piggyback a little bit on DCAO Benjamin, as we were talking about the developments that we're doing, these new developments that are attracting the retail that we want. We are really strategically looking to really dive into mixed use because we're understanding that this is what's moving things now. So we're having conversations with a few that we can name, another Broken Egg, breakfast concepts. We want more high-end restaurants. And we're having conversations with them, and a lot of them are entrenched deeply into getting their businesses open in 2026. So we'll be happy to announce them. But we're definitely looking at experiential retail so that, you go to a project, you can grab something to eat, you can have something fun to do, you can also stay there for a little bit. We just want to create placemaking environments where you can literally live, work, and play, just to try to alleviate some of that retail leakage that's leaving the county.
Yeah. And tell us, how is the EDC working to attract businesses that not only bring jobs, but also offer higher wages and long-term career opportunities for county residents?
Of course. So the three main pillars that we live by at the EDC is one, to create new jobs. And when we're looking at these new businesses that are coming here, the sweet spot that we like to look for is about 25 plus, we would say, good paying jobs. And with that good paying, we look at least minimum wage and above. And additionally, after that, we want to retain the businesses that are already here. We know that we have businesses here, but we have to retain those because their viability and them being healthy is important to the next step of development, because when those numbers come out, that's what retailers are looking for. And the third one I would definitely say is to expand that commercial tax base, because when we expand that commercial tax base, we alleviate the burden on the citizens. And with doing that, that allows us to tap in with the brokers who are now the placemakers. We're not typically talking to the retailers directly sometimes. Sometimes we're having to talk to those retail brokers. We have to understand what the retailers are looking for. We have to study their site selection criteria so that we fully understand what they're asking for, so that when residents ask questions as to why we don't have certain things, we can give them concrete answers as to, here's the 200,000 that we're looking for. We're at 180. That's not saying no. That's just saying that we're close to where we need to be. And we can talk about some of the other things that are great in our county that other places don't have. And one other important thing that I always like to tell people is that we are in the top 4% of counties in the United States. There are 3,142 total counties. We're in the top 4%, but we're surrounded by the top three. So the most important thing to do is to understand what our competitors are doing, how they're being successful, how they're not being successful, and taking all of those things and make sure that we're parlaying them to make sure that Prince George's County is not only open for business, but always at the top of mind for all retailers and developers.
Yeah, it's a wonderful message. We're going to turn now to the Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement, also known as DPI. DPI's mission is to promote economic development and protect the health and safety of county residents and business leaders, as well as visitors, through efficient permitting, inspection, and zoning enforcement. Mary Giles is DPI's Deputy Director. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Director Giles. What is the most common permitting mistake made by first-time entrepreneurs, and what can they do to avoid long delays in the approval process?
Thank you for that question, and thank you for this invitation tonight. I would say that the most common troublesome mistake that might occur with a new business is not hiring the right qualified architect engineering team to accomplish your building permit plan preparation. It's really important that new businesses identify the space that they're interested in purchasing and confirm with park and planning that the zoning allows their use. That's the first step before you even sign a lease. Second, it's really key that they hire an architect, engineering team, and a contracting team that understands Prince George's County and understands how to get through the permit process, our building codes, et cetera. That goes a really long way to a successful permit process. Thirdly, you file your permit as soon as possible. You may be a business that's simply moving into a space thinking, I'm not altering this space, but as soon as you start your UNO process, the fire marshal may come out and do an inspection and find you've got some building code violations you need to fix. So sometimes the process can take longer because of code deficiencies. So leave yourself as much time as you can. Our fourth tip is utilize our small business fast track process. We have really improved this process. Beginning in August of this year, we elevated our fast track building permit BDS program. We are identifying permits incoming, businesses that are smaller than 5,000 square feet in space that aren't doing a lot of construction, and we are expediting those permits. We're communicating with those businesses, getting their permits through the permit process. Since August, we've received over 500 permits. We've issued about 230 of them. And these are small businesses that we want to get into this county quickly. So utilizing our BDS program, we have a fellow named Charles Cooper, who's the chief of our BDS program. He's a great resource, not only to help you through the process, but to give you guidance and advice. And then probably the last thing is contact DPI. Come visit us. If you're having a difficulty with the process, we have people in the permit center that can help you, hold your hand. So those are just some tips to get through the process.
Yeah, and they're very helpful tips, I hope, because DPI's process can, as I'm sure you know, sometimes feel overwhelming for small business owners who are trying to get a leg up in the county.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you so much, Deputy Director Giles. The first stop for businesses seeking contracts with the county is the Office of Procurement, where they can learn about resources, eligibility, and qualifications. The mission of this office is to carefully oversee the procurement of goods and services and construction using public funds in collaboration with county departments. Joining us now is Alice Williams, who's Director of the Office of Procurement. And it's so nice to have you with us. Welcome to you, Director Williams. Your office's stated commitment is rooted in, quote, the inclusivity, transparency, and equity.
Yes, ma'am.
With the goal of serving residents, businesses, and the public interest. Your office establishes procurement processing standards that align with the county's regulations, of course, and you monitor the effectiveness of procurement service delivery. So my question to you is, for small or minority-owned businesses, what are the most important qualifications that should be in place before they realistically compete for a county contract?
Thank you so much. That's a very good question. What I'd like to say first, it is definitely good business to do business with the people here in Prince George's County. And we are very excited to do so and provide the updated information on how to do business with Prince George's County. The first thing I want to say is please be procurement ready. That is so important. Understanding the mission of the organizations that you're interested in doing business with. Every agency you can identify in our Green Book, and I'll have someone on my staff to actually put it in the chat. If you go to our website in our Green Book, it will identify every agency here in the county. In that Green Book, it will give an explanation and a mission of what they do. Please understand the mission of the organization so you know how to market yourself to each agency. In addition to that, please align your core capability statements with the organization you're interested in doing business with. If you're in the IT business, you more than likely want to go see the IT office. We have Director Bernard Wright who runs that. You want to visit his website, look at what his focus areas are, what his top priorities are, what his missions is, so you know how to align your core capabilities to the needs that he need in his organization. We need you to have a clear, concise capability statement. That is so very important because that's your one time to sell your resume. That's your business resume. And if we will utilize that to send to every agency head to introduce you to that agency. I also have my doors open every Friday. If you don't have a clear understanding of how to do the business with the county, please get on my calendar every Friday by appointment. We will also put my information in the chat so you can register to get on my calendar to meet with me. But that is important because I get an opportunity to know you personally, get an understanding of what your capabilities are and what your business can do, and I can direct you to the right key leaders and the decision makers here in the county. It's very important, though, that you also ensure that you're in good standing with the state, that all your credentials are up to date, that you do have your license and your insurance and all the documentation you need to actually do business. Because if you do business, you want to do business with us, and you get to the point of really want to maybe bid on requirement, we get to a point of awarding you a requirement, you will not be able to get that solicitation or that contract if you're not up to date on your license and things that you may need. But the very first thing you have to do, you have to register in Ariba Speed. If you're not registered here to do business with Prince George's County, we cannot do business with you. We cannot issue you a solicitation. We cannot pay you. We cannot do anything. So the first thing is to register. I will also have my staff put that in the link as well. But you need to register your business. In registration, there are things that you need to have. You need to have your EIN number. We need that. That is very important. We need to have your IRS data. You need to update that into the system as well. Now, we have streamlined some of the processes where it won't take you as long to get there. We also have on-site registration. We have Open Our Office SOAR, where you can walk in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and just register your business. We will help you get there. If you don't have all the pertinent information needed to get into the system or finish your application, you have up to 30 days to get back to us to register your information in the system. If you miss the 30-day point, you may have to start all over again. But we are here to help you. Please utilize all the resources that we have here in the office. We're open every day. You can pick up the phone, you can send us an email, and we have individuals right here on site to make sure that you can register your business into the system. Thank you.
Okay, so make sure you do your due diligence.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Director Williams, good to have you with us.
Thank you.
We are all familiar with the Chamber of Commerce. The Prince George's Chamber of Commerce is a nonprofit organization representing businesses in the county with a mission to advance the interests of business and to help create wealth for a vibrant Prince George's County. Alex Austin is president of the Prince George's Chamber, president and CEO, and it's great to have you with us tonight.
Good evening, Madam County Executive. Thank you for putting this together. Ms. Pat Lawson, it's a pleasure to be here with you, and to all my panelists and guests, it's a pleasure to be here.
All right, great to have you too. As we head into the new year, which is coming really quickly, what are the Chamber's top legislative priorities, and what, if you can say so, what could change in 2026?
Oh, that's a very, very good question. Well, I'll start first. When we talk about priorities, the Chamber is known for a number of things, primarily as advocacy. We advocate at a number of levels. We advocate at the state level. We have some input at federal level, and obviously at the county municipal level. And with that, advocacy also includes our partners, right? And ensuring that our partners, particularly our stakeholders, have resources and access they need. And we can always sometimes be in rooms and say the same message. And it hits different when it comes from a different angle. But for the Chamber, particularly in 2026, because I believe, and I'm sure we all agree, 2025 was interesting in a number of ways. But our top priority, to my counterpart, Ms. Alice, Director Williams, who we see each other a lot, it's fair and transparent transparent procurement. That is a big priority for us. We launched a program earlier this year called the Equity and Procurement Program, which we're seeing a lot of success. And that's helping small, medium-sized companies connect with private procurement opportunities, which we look to expand into some state and local municipal and county opportunities. Access to capital is always number one, right? But I also think when we talk about priorities, when we look at access to capital, what type of capital are we talking about? We're looking at, obviously public funds, but really leaning into other private treasury fund, not I won't say treasury funds, but other private funds, looking at our venture capital partners, our family offices, private equity firms who have an interest in the demographics and the makeup of Prince George's County, which we're having a lot of conversations around, but also advocating for opportunities that are where we can use kind of a public-private partnership of public funds and private funds to help businesses move forward. And that's also in partnership with our counterparts at the Economic Development Corporation, looking at how we can collaborate to then move the various businesses together. Building, obviously infrastructure, transit, and digital equity for growth. Digital equity is one of the things that we tackled early on when I started at the chamber, because even in 2025, there's still limited capacity to digital assets, and a lot of small business owners may not necessarily know all of the resources at their disposal. And we've partnered with companies like Verizon to offer a free digital course. We also look at some of our partners from the SBDC, EDC, and who offer these particular opportunities, partner with the FSC first on certain opportunities to provide opportunities for digital access. And of course, when we talk about infrastructure, I think at the state level, transportation is still one of the top focus areas. But then when you merge those into lighthouse industries, we talk about AI, quantum, and data centers. Those are still looming, and conversations are going to be having in one of those verticals, right? I saw comments around aerospace and defense and looking at, what type of focus areas are we looking at around advanced manufacturing and providing legislative opportunities to collaborate with our stakeholders on making sure that those ecosystems are thriving. And then, obviously building and I'm going to pivot to one of our partners at Employ Prince George's, but working on an inclusive and future-ready workforce. With the immersion of AI, we are in a different economy. I literally just left an interview talking about this. And I think we have to debunk some of the myths around what artificial intelligence is doing. I mean, obviously there's sweeping changes. But also, what does the workforce of the future really look like when you merge human capital and technological advancements? How far can we go when we talk about efficiencies, ability to scale, organizations who can move a lot faster on limited resources? And that is something we have to really think about. And from a chamber's perspective, all stakeholders meet at the chamber. So we're not in one lane versus the other, but we take all of these legislative priorities and say, how do we partner with state partners, local partners, businesses, and then say, hey, let's meet at the chamber and figure out how we move forward on the same highway.
And how can residents elevate their voices in terms of having a stronger voice in the process, of attracting and supporting businesses in the county? Many people want to have something to say about the business that comes to their neighborhood or their community, or the businesses that they just want to see in the county. How do they make their voices heard and make their voices louder?
Absolutely. Well, the timing is perfect. This morning we had our Coffee Connections, which is the first Tuesday of every month. And this morning was very unique because we had an open committee call, and one of the committees that we have 5 membership committees, and one of the committees that is very, very focused on legislative priorities is our Legislative Action Committee, which is one of our more active committees. From meeting at the General Assembly, we meet on a weekly basis from January to April, and then bi-weekly from April to December. But all are welcome to join and providing their opportunity to share concerns. The other thing is you can always submit information to the chamber at chamber@pgcoc.org. You can visit our website and submit inquiries there. But also I would say, come to an event. If we have a Coffee Connections, if we have a networking session, if we have something that seems to resonate with a concern, we want to hear from you because there's no business without community. There's no community without business, right? So we're moving on the same highway. We may be in different lanes, but we're moving on the same highway.
Very well said. Alex Austin, president of the Prince George's Chamber. Of course, elevating the county's workforce is also key to elevating the economy. Employ Prince George's is the quasi-government 501c3 nonprofit serving as the principal workforce development entity for the county government. Amanda Wagner is the Chief Operating Officer for Employ Prince George's County. Good to see you, Ms. Wagner.
Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
So if you will, tell us about Employ Prince George's work to expand your business resources, recruitment, and your training.
Yeah, as Alex just mentioned, there's no time like the present to be really working on our business strategy in the county. AI is moving at the speed of light. I think every day we're learning something new, and so we really have to make sure that we're developing innovative services to serve and support our businesses in the community. And so we have a really dynamic and incredible business services team at Employ Prince George's, and we're really laser focused on making sure that we have tools and resources for our community to make hiring faster, making it easier, more affordable, and really focusing on the services that we have for our small and minority businesses. We have a lot of great opportunities to provide services for our local community. And a lot of those things are, as we say at EPG, we're the best kept secret, and we really want not to be that. We really want to be able to provide services to our businesses so that everybody has access to them and can hire as quickly and cost effectively as possible. So some of the things that we're really working on right now, one, we have a great opportunity for incumbent worker training. So we hear often that businesses are having a hard time hiring, and often it may challenge you to look from within and say, you know, how could I get that entry-level skilled person moving up and advancing to that next level on the career ladder? And we actually have funding for businesses to do that. So as we're talking about AI and innovation, really working with our businesses to say, you know, we can help you with the funding to get that training so that you can upskill that person and then open that door for that person on the entry level to come to your business, and it may be a little bit easier to get that person on board. So certainly incumbent worker training funding we have available now, and we would love to connect with businesses to get that resource out to individuals. We also have a lot of other opportunities to make sure that we have the resources for our businesses. I have quite a few. I have about a list of 10, so I'd love to have separate conversations. I know we're short on time and we're already a little bit over, but thinking about job placement and matching opportunities, we have a really dynamic system where we can use AI to help businesses mine the talent that really aligns with the skills that they need. So again, really looking forward to connecting with people and talking about some of the different services that we have available to support the businesses in the county.
Tell us, for small businesses that are struggling with hiring, what specific recruitment or talent matching services does Employ Prince George's offer?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And it is a challenge. We have a dynamic menu of services at Employ Prince George's. And one of the things that we offer is instruction. So if you have a group of people that you may be interested in, and they may be, let's say, a little rough around the edges, we have vocational trainers on site, and we offer workshops throughout the week to help with those soft skills and make sure that those durable skills are kind of up to speed and aligned with the needs of business. We also have customized training, and we have job matching services to make sure that we are really listening to our businesses and we understand what they need, and that we're developing talent that aligns specifically with those businesses. Finally, we have business advisory councils, and those meet quarterly. And I think it's really important, if you're having a challenge with hiring, help us and be a part of that solution. So those business advisory councils are there to really tell us what they need so that we can make sure that we're developing career pathways that really align with the needs of business today. As I mentioned, things are moving so quickly, and without knowing what our businesses in the community need, we really have some misalignment. And so we'd love for you to come out to those quarterly business meetings so we can hear from you what you're needing and how we can better match our talent with the needs of the local community.
Is that matching? Is that one of the biggest difficulties in finding employment?
Yeah, it's finding the talent and the needs right now. So what we needed even 6 months or a year ago may be different now with the advancements with AI and technology. And so it's really important to understand as credentials advance, as talent kind of shifts, that we're making sure that we have an understanding of what those businesses need as things move forward.
And are your services free or is there a charge?
Another great question. You saved the best for last. Yes, our services are free for businesses and for job seekers as well. And really, there's a lot of incentives available. I want to put a quick plug in for our reentry incentive. So if you're interested in hiring returning citizens, we have a great incentive to hire those individuals as well. So please come connect with us. We have a lot of great opportunities to help you advance your workforce.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Wagner. Here's where we transition to our Q&A section. And I want to remind you that we're going to take your questions, the questions that you submit via chat. And we're asking that you include with your question the department or the agency to whom you're addressing your question. We will get to as many questions as we can, and those that we can't get to tonight on this town hall will be answered in the future. So let's take some of your questions now. And the first one is for Chief Benjamin. And the question is, what's the plan that you're excited about as it relates to Six Flags and the Commanders Stadium?
So what I'm excited about is the possibilities there. As you may know, those properties, Six Flags and the Commanders properties, are privately owned. They're not county owned. And so we do have to wait for them to decide whether to sell to another private entity, to the county. So we can't say with certainty exactly what will be there, but we do know that what will ultimately come into an agreement with those entities is a higher and better use of those properties so that we can have a stronger commercial tax base arising from them, and that we'll have amenities that county residents can enjoy, be proud of, and that lend themselves to making Prince George's County a destination place as well as a place to live, work, and play.
And if I could just add on to that,
Certainly.
while we don't own those properties, we do have a significant interest in the development that's going to occur there. In fact, the very first meeting I had as county executive was with the ownership of Six Flags. And so they are in the process. They have had an RFP process, which we are engaged in because we ultimately want to see the type of development that will attract visitors from across really the world there. And so they understand that, and the county is going to participate in that project once a new owner is selected. But they're going through a very I guess, strategic process now of vetting all of the applicants, those who responded to their RFP. And we have been in conversations with them as they're going through that process. But it is privately owned, as Chief Benjamin said. But what I can tell you is that they are very interested in working with the county. And we also know what our county residents need and want. And while Six Flags was a historic kind of entity, it's set on 500 acres of property. Only about 20% of the property was used for the theme park. It yielded to the county about $3 to $3.5 million a year in total tax dollars. And I want to compare that to National Harbor that sits on about 300 acres. So you're talking about a site at Six Flags that is that's 200 acres more than National Harbor, and National Harbor brings in about 70 to 80 million dollars a year to the county. So the point is, we are excited about the possibilities. We're excited to work with the current ownership and the new owners to bring multiple uses to that site that will generate far more in tax dollars than what we have today. The same situation applies to the Commanders. The Commander sits on about 200 acres of property between two major metro stations, Morgan Boulevard and Largo Town Center. We generate around 14 million a year in tax revenues and benefits from the Commanders, which is great. But in that area, we could probably at least double that based on the location of the property and then the uses that we can bring to the property, and capitalizing off the fact that it is next to two metro stations. So while we are quote unquote losing some iconic sites, when you really think about it from a purely economic perspective, it didn't generate the type of revenue that the county, I think, can absolutely demand of new development. And that's why we're very excited as an administration to be able to work with our business community to yield the highest and best uses on those properties. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam County Executive. We're taking your questions again via chat, and just remember when you submit your question to list the agency that you're directing your question to. The next question is this: what role do the residents of Prince George's County play in shaping which businesses are brought to the county? Prince George's has nothing, this is from the chat, has nothing but Wawa, Royal Farms, and Starbucks saturating the area. Who'd like to answer that?
So I'll answer that, and then I'll pitch it to Mr. Austin or someone else. I agree with you. I agree. I look at, part of the reason why I wanted to run for this office is to bring the type of development that, quite frankly, we deserve. And not to say that Wawas don't have their place, but they shouldn't be every place, right? As was mentioned by Ms. Benjamin, we have a lot of retail leakage. The truth is, we are one of the wealthiest communities in the country. Prince George's County has a higher median income than most other jurisdictions in the country, which means that we can ask and demand more and better. And we are spending, our dollars are going to those businesses that are more attractive businesses or higher end businesses. We are spending our money there. The problem is we're just not spending it in the county because they don't exist here. And so we are absolutely focused, and we will be having a focus group that really just focuses on attracting high end retail to the county, because we absolutely have the salaries and the incomes to demand it. What we're going to do is we have to do, I think, a better job of marketing our county, speaking our truth, speaking dollars and cents, talking about exactly where we're shopping, where Prince Georgians are shopping, how much we're spending outside the county. I believe it's over $1 billion that we're spending a year. And so those restaurants, those stores, all of those places where we're spending our money should absolutely exist here. And that's why strengthening our relationship with the Prince George's County Chamber of Commerce is key, because they're nimble. They can go out there and help us attract those retailers and everything else. We have to offer economic incentives in some cases to get them to come here, but we need to be at the table. And right now, I don't think Prince George's County has strategically been at the table with the type of retailers that we really deserve here in the county. And so that is an absolute focus. One of the things that we're going to do to help that along, working with our county council, is to develop a work group that looks at the use tables in the county, where what is allowable in certain zones in the county. It can't just be any type of retail that can go in an MXT zone depending on where it's located. We don't want, and I don't want to name any stores or gas stations that we feel like we have too many of, but my point is, we can't allow every type of retailer in every zone, in every commercial zone. If we do that, we're going to continue to get what we're getting now. We have to change our use tables to demand higher quality uses in those zones. So it's a technical exercise in terms of working on changing the use tables that will update our zoning code, but it's something that we have to do in order to get the type of quality retail that we want, and again, that we can afford, that we can afford.
Yeah, and then this is sort of a follow-up question, Madam County Executive, and this is directed, I believe, to Director Jeffrey. Which organizations is the EDC communicating with that are high-end restaurants or high-end car dealerships?
Thank you. That's a great question, actually. So one of the things that I would say, just to piggyback off the last statement, I know that was a big one, and it's a big thing that we hear a lot at the EDC about the gas stations and the influx of those. What I will say is that as a county resident, I fully agree, but I also know that as a retail broker, that each of those has a place. And though we may not want them in all the places, we have to continue to build our density. Because when we build that density, then we can have those conversations that county executive was talking about, where we can really promote Prince George's County as a place for business to develop. Just to go back to the other question that you asked, we're talking ICSC is one of our biggest things that we do. And what that is, it used to be called the International Council of Shopping Centers, but now it is integrating community and serving community as well. And basically what that is we go to 3 trade shows throughout the year, one locally, one in New York, and one in Las Vegas, where at least I would say 30 to 50,000 people are there. And those 30 to 50,000 people that are there, they're retailers, they're developers, and they are the decision makers. Now, when we're having those conversations, unfortunately, we have to teach these retailers and these developers that Prince George's County's dollars spend the same way as the dollars of their surrounding municipalities. It's not a matter of not, it's a matter of when, and it's a matter of having different conversations and changing the perspective. So that $1.6 billion that was mentioned that leaks out of the county in retail, we are constantly talking about that number. We're constantly showing the spending patterns and the traffic patterns of customers. We're waiting for the retailers to get there, but what we are doing is being the squeaky wheel. So what I would say is that I love to see the different communities. We're almost 500 square miles of county. If you're in a community and you have people that are around you, come together. Let us know what you want in your community, and please reach out to the EDC and let us know, because we don't know what's wrong unless we hear directly from the residents. So come together, and that's a countywide reach out. We all just should come together, and if we strategically tell everyone what we're doing and who we are, they can't dispute the facts. So what I'll say is that we'll continue to talk about the facts. We'll continue to do what we're going to do. But what I charge everyone to do is continue to support the retail and the things that are in Prince George's County, because though you may not want the gas station, what you do want and the retail that you do want, they're looking at the numbers that those gas stations and that those chicken places are having that you may not necessarily want to. And they're making those decisions based off that customer traffic.
All right, that's a really important point. And while we have you speaking, Director Jeffrey, someone wants to know if there will be a grocery store included in development specifically on Central Avenue in that corridor by the Addison Road Metro, Capitol Heights, and or Morgan Boulevard stations.
So I'll answer that in 2 ways. One, I'll say, unfortunately, all the grocery stores that we're talking to, and that should say a lot, we cannot discuss any locations that they're looking at. What I will also say is that we have strategically looked at the county map, and we know exactly every place where a grocery store is needed, where a grocery store has left, or a grocery store is thinking about leaving. So when we talk about those mixed use components, we talk about the anchor, and that's the most important part. And in most instances, your anchor is going to be a grocery store. So looking at those corridors, I will say, yes, there are conversations happening there. But what we're also looking at is diversifying from the general grocery anchored retail to looking at other ways that retail can be anchored. So for instance, Carillon, the project where we have a hospital that's actually anchoring a project. That's our anchor. So yes, with that, we're going to also get a grocery store. We're going to get more retail. We're going to get more restaurants, and we're going to be able to show more people about the amount of revenue and the amount of money that the people in Prince George's County are making and spending.
All right, all right. We've got a zillion questions coming in. We can't get to all of them. If we're going to run through them as fast as we can. So this one is for Employ Prince George's. Do you have any current job openings available other than what's listed on the website? And then there's a question that says, what specifically are you doing, Employ Prince George's, to address the unemployment rate among federal employees at the professional level who've been laid off or whose positions have been eliminated? Are there any recruiting or outreach programs targeting them?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are both good questions, and I think that I may have responded to them in the chat. But for the first question, and I'm sorry, Pat Lossamy, could you repeat the first part? I went to the second part and forgot the first part.
Well, does the county, are
The
there
hiring.
any jobs other than what's posted?
Yeah, so we have at Employ Prince George's, we currently have 2 positions posted. If you go to pgccareers.com, we have our positions posted for Employ Prince George's. And also, if you're interested in additional services for employment, we can also service you at pgccareers.com, and you can click I'm a job seeker, and we have an intake team on standby, and you can fill out that initial demographic screen, and we can get you hooked up with next steps for job searching. So we're happy to do that for you. And the second question was in regards to our federal workers. We have a program called Career Transition Resources that we've launched in partnership with the County Executive's Office, and we have been working really hard to make sure that we're providing continuous resume workshops, LinkedIn workshops. We have even done some photo shoots to get updated headshots, and we've also done some fantastic job fairs. So we have active services going on pretty continuously, but if you're impacted by federal layoffs, we do have specific funding to support those individuals as well. And again, it's pgccareers.com. If you want to register and click I'm a job seeker, we're happy to support there as well.
All right, great. This one is for Director Williams. Can you share any insights or advice on how our organization can find procurement opportunities centered around professional services that are not publicly advertised?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. That's a very good question. First, we do advertise all our requirements on the Emma website, which is the Maryland State website, and also through our Speed Ariba website. So if you're trying to identify our forecasting or you're looking for a solicitation, you also can identify that also on our Office of Procurement website as well. If you're looking for professional services, you may see it in a different form. You may see it in the form of consulting services. So you also want to look at requirements to state consulting services or personal service or professional services. In addition to that, agencies that may are more geared to actually having these type of services are probably agencies like Department of Public Works and Transportation's Office of Central Services, Office of the County Executive, and Health and Human Services. So if you have not visited those websites to see what type of services they are asking you to look for or procure, you may want to visit those locations. In addition to that, if you're not really sure how to identify requirements, make sure you take the opportunity to get on my calendar. We have one-on-one counseling where we actually go through every agency, talk about all the requirements here in the county, and also introduce you to key leaders and decision makers. So there are opportunities out there. You may not see them in the form of professional services, but please look at consulting services. Also look at temporary services. We have a temporary service contract, which is a scheduled contract. You may want to be interested in getting on. Please identify that to us, and we will make sure that you get an opportunity to at least get opportunity to get on that particular contract. But take advantage of the one-on-one counseling with me every Friday. My doors are open by appointment. Also Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, walk into our SOAR Center where we have one-on-one counseling that can assist you and gear you to the agencies that you're interested in doing business with in those particular areas. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Williams. This is another question for DPI. Which resources are available to help small businesses get through the permitting process, having recently gone through the process to open an assisted living facility in the district, in District 9? I found the process to be very confusing, getting various answers to the same question. And
Great question. Again, our small business development section is a good resource to help you through the process. Also, coming to visit us. If you're struggling with our momentum system, we offer training once a month. You can ask your architect to file the permit for you, or you can ask us for hands-on assistance if you're struggling with a permit system that you're not familiar with. Those are just a few suggestions.
all right, and then there's a question directed to our county executive. Since you're here, this viewer wants to know, how is Prince George's County revising its marketing and branding externally to change the perception of the county that this viewer believes hinders economic development?
Well, I think that we are absolutely elevating Prince George's County. That's why I started with branding the county as an elevated county. We wanted to clean up Prince George's County. We started with addressing the 27,000 backlogged 311 complaints, over 13,000 of which were nuisance complaints, complaints about trash and debris. So we wanted to look good because we want people to see the beauty of Prince George's County that we know exists. We are also going to be later this month talking about all of the decreases we have seen in every single category of crime. Prince George's County is a safe county. We have been able to see an over 40% reduction in homicides and over 50% reduction in carjackings. In every single major category of crime, we've seen significant reductions. We have a great public safety team in place, and we are moving forward. So those are some of the things that we are doing so that we can tell our story, a truthful story, in a much better and stronger way. But when it comes to marketing our county, to be honest, that's something that we have not done intentionally. We have not, for whatever reason, dedicated the money, the resources to actually having a marketing campaign for Prince George's County. And so that is something that we are working on now. So what you'll see probably in February, Marchish, will be a campaign that we're going to really be launching to focus on branding our county, attracting new investment to our county, and letting people know about us. But let me tell you, Prince George's County nationally has a very strong reputation. Sometimes we're harder on ourselves than possibly we need to be. I can tell you that there are people around the country who want to move to Prince George's County. They wish they lived in Prince George's County. They've heard about Prince George's County. They want to visit Prince George's County. So I think we have a lot of good a good conversation to really talk about ourselves, but we don't do it. But we are going to start doing it. But give us a little time. Remember, I'm about 6 months in, not even quite 6 months in. We're working hard to really retool government to ensure that government is working for people. We've had a lot of personnel changes that we've had to make. But we got off to a really strong start. And now we're going to be really refocusing on economic development, marketing, and branding. But we had to get some of the basic things right. We had to get government back working and functioning well. We had to clean up our streets. We had to make sure that crime was under control. We had to do all the things that we needed to do to have a solid base for a strong economy. And so we had to look at how we're spending our money, what we're doing to increase revenues, to reduce waste. Those are the things that you don't necessarily hear about every day, but those are the things that we're working on in government. But now I think we can absolutely turn our focus to marketing our beautiful, amazing, tremendous county so that the rest of the world knows who we are and what we're all about.
All right. And you get the final word, Prince George's County Executive Aisha Braveboy. Thanks to all of you who participated tonight, all of our panelists. Thank you so much for being with us. And to those of you who submitted questions and who joined in the conversation and interacted with us, sending in your thoughts and your ideas. Thank you so much for your questions, and thank you for being with us. And we hope you'll have a happy holiday season. That's all the time we have tonight. But those of you who did not get answers to your questions will get those answers. Again, thanks for joining us tonight for this town hall series on the economy in Prince George's County. Have a great holiday season, and we'll see you next time. Good night.